Okay, I'm going to let things rest for just a moment or two for people to log in. All right, let's get this show on the road. Greetings, Tech Art fans. It's 12:30. I hope that this time shift didn't throw too many people off, but welcome to Tech Art Talk Live and welcome to 2021, a brand new year and a brand new bunch of possibilities. So let's hope that this year is going to be a good one. Okay, let's see. Today's topic. I want to talk about something that I had a little revelation over the break over time. Now, I could have had a presentation last week, but that would have been during New Year's Day, and I realize that many of you folks were nursing hangovers, and I myself didn't have my information quite ready yet. So therefore, I postponed it to this week, which is probably cool because I'm not going to be around next week, and when I come back on the 22nd, we are going to go launch and devote the Tech Art Talk Live into a whole module of scripting related stuff. But before we go into that, I wanted to tell you a little bit about something that's near and dear to my heart. And so I don't know if this lecture is going to take very long today, but I wanted to share with you all the same. All right. Now, it was Christmas Day and I was going for a walk, and I happened to got a couple of cigars on Christmas, and I like to go on. I like my cigars. I like to take a cigar and go on a long walk and really just smoke on the cigar and just contemplate on reality. And a strange thing happened when I was working with the cigar on this Christmas. I was just start thinking and I started having the understanding that, wow, this is really cool. I am a technical artist. Now, I realize that I haven't done the job of a technical artist in a long time, but still, I myself am a technical artist. And I'm always telling people to be true to your heart's own convictions. Stay steady, stay true to who you are. But the truth of it is, I love creating art. And also, I love programming and I love to teach technology. I'm able to do both of those things. And I'm interchangeable, one on the right hand and one on the left hand. Which is stronger? It all depends on which is I'm focusing on more at the time. Sometimes I am stronger in art. Sometimes I am stronger in programming and technology. Which is it? I don't know. It depends on which hand I'm currently focusing on. So I can do both interchangeably, and I know I can switch them back and forth whenever I need to. So that's really cool. Only tech artists get to do that. So thankfully, I am a tech artist, and so I'm going to thank the universe. I want to thank all the powers that be that I am a tech artist. So I'm lucky because I consider myself as a two-fisted fighter. I can wield art, I can wield technology, and I can wield them back and forth. And this is something that anyone else who is conflicted between art and technology, this is something to invoke and something to embrace and something to bring into your life because I think it could bring you possibly a lot of prosperity as well. So, what I'd like to try to do is today is give thanks to all the tech art saints. You're probably going, tech art saints, what is that? Is he making fun of me and my religion? No, no, I'm not doing that. But because I live in story worlds myself, Dungeons and Dragons and all that kind of stuff. I'm always living in alternative realities. And therefore, in my reality, there are tech art saints. And so, of my tech art saints, we've got three that I could say are the tech art saints. And the first one is Leonardo da Vinci. Now, everybody knows Leonardo da Vinci because he was the original and first of the true Renaissance guys. He, created technology, he created submarines, he created helicopters, he created airplanes, but he also created things like the Mona Lisa, and he was well known and was hired as an artist by various patrons. So the world's famous, the world's first tech artist, Leonardo da Vinci, hands down. But I'm not going to focus on Leonardo da Vinci because everyone knows about him. So I'm going to talk today really about the other of the tech art saints, the real two-fisted fighters. And those two individuals are, now you may never have heard these before, so I'm going to introduce them to you as well. First is Miyamoto Musashi, and we're going to go into a little bit of him. And the second is Moonglum of Elwhere. You're probably going, oh man, those were some really crazy cigars that Chris was smoking on Christmas. He's still tripping a little bit. Yeah, well, the thing is, they got me really excited about being a tech artist because, and then I really started thinking about what embodies of these characters and of these historical figures actually do they apply to tech art. All right, first let's go and talk about Miyamoto Musashi. And I'm going to go ahead and bring on a picture right here. Yeah, that's an old picture of him. And so he, in Japan, is known as the Japanese Kensei, or he is the Japanese sword saint, or the saint of all swords, because he was the creator of what is known as Niten Ichi Ryu, which is, it's difficult to translate, but ultimately it's two-sworded fighting. He fought with a katana, or a katana, and a katana was a long sword, and the wakizashi is the short sword. So he fought with those, and he was, reportedly, and no doubt, Japan's greatest sword fighter. Now I know that that's arguable, but needless to say, he is the kind of, uh-oh, excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I also vamped up my phone to be obnoxiously loud whenever I got a call because I missed so many calls. But anyway, you don't have to just study kendo in order to appreciate the philosophies of Musashi. Musashi wrote multiple books about strategy and about warfare and about life, and it's really something to really consider. And it all comes down to being a kind of a two-handed fighter, using the strengths of both yin and your yang, the left and the right, and then combining them and complementing them work with each other. And like I said, he is technically, arguably Japan's greatest sword fighter. So really that kind of helped out a lot of things. So that is him. And the other guy I wanted to talk about is Moonglum of Elwhere. Now you people are going, now, not really. Who is Moonglum of Elwhere? Now, when I was much younger, I was a big fan of fantasy, and I was a big fan of the Elric saga from Michael Moorcock's Stormbringer uh, era, and so forth. And Moonglum was Elric's primary companion. Now, the thing about Moonglum is that he was a small guy. He wasn't necessarily large, but he was very effective. He was very, very, very established fighter. He was a real swarthy rogue type character, and they said he had a cheerfully ugly face, which I don't know what that means, but let's just say he wasn't the most prettiest of human beings. And they said that he had a big old mop of red hair on him. But most of all, he fought with two swords. And the same way that Musashi fought with two swords, Moonglum of Elwhere exhibited the exact same behaviors. And so they kind of reflected each other. Now, while Musashi is a real person, Moonglum lives on in the spirit in my heart. And so Moonglum turned out to be the greatest two-fisted fighter or the two-fisted swordsman of that particular story world. And so both of these characters are a real strong presence in my heart. And whenever I think of tech art, I see myself as a projection of maybe Moonglum and of Musashi. Now, I'm not going to compare myself to Musashi. It's been a long time since I've studied kendo, and I really never was that good of a swordsman to begin with. But at least I can think of myself as Moonglum, as being a small man with a cheerfully ugly face. The mop of red hair, I'm just not going to even try to compete against. Okay, now there was interesting about this is that they were both had were supposedly not very pretty. And that meant that they kind of were not your typical heroes, but that means they kind of sat in the background. But what I really wanted to go on and go on today, what is that as I've noticed, some of the best programmers I have ever seen and ever had an opportunity of dealing with, they were actually tech artists, which were actually cool because they were all self-taught and they all started off as artists way back when, a long time ago. And they started off by searching for ways of speeding up their process. And then they found their way to programming or through to proceduralism, and they found that way of getting to where they wanted to go much faster. And in the long run, they ended up becoming better programmers than they were artists. And so they really were the modern equivalent to Renaissance people that the spirit of Leonardo da Vinci started way back when in the medieval days. And contrary to the best programmers, many of the best artists I've ever dealt with, were excellent, excellent tech artists. Now, I've had the opportunity of teaching multiple fine artists as tech artists, and I can say hands down, some of my best students were coming from the fine arts. And why was that, I wondered? And I think it has to do with because these artists had open minds. They weren't afraid to use the technology. And that made them fearless. That means that they were willing to try anything in order to kind of expand their craft and learn and then grow. And they were willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And so we've got the best artists and the best programmers. And ironically, they all had tech art relations. And so, in my humble opinion, I love tech artists because tech artists can do just about anything. They're as artists, they're willing to leverage their skills with the skills of the computer or the whatever the computer can do, but they leverage their skills and use the computer to leverage the skills of themselves or others and able to do things that would be impossible to do and to create by hand. That's what they're able to do and as programmers, they're not bound by rigid rules and standards. Now, I got to be respectful of proper programming and standards and rules. They're very, very important, and it's good to know them. And it's a great place, and you got to have that discipline in order to start things. But as artists, they're also can allowed to deviate and to move away from those things, and they're able to use both parts of their brain that they never really ever thought of. So, for you artists out there, this is what I have to do to implore you. Come on over to the dark side. At the end of the long run, in my opinion, it's more fun. Now, don't worry, there's nothing to worry about when going and studying tech art. You can't unlearn it. Once you've learned it, it's part of who you are. Now, once you finish with the tech art studies and so forth, as far as I'm concerned, go ahead, forget it all. You know, forget it never existed. But in reality, I know it's there and you really can't unlearn it. And so, therefore, if you ever needed to come back to it, don't worry about it. You'll be able to pick it up again right where you left off with it. And I promise you, it'll still be there and it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And in the final end of the day, no artist has ever said that learning tech art hurt their creativity. I don't care what you're afraid of. I challenge anybody to find out there as an artist who said that studying technology hurt their creativity. Okay, for you programmers out there, use that right side of your brain. Go ahead and challenge yourself to think outside the box. Bring in radical new ideas. Challenge yourself to kind of go out there and do things that other people aren't doing. Take algorithms that you know and then apply them in new, radical, different ways. But mostly, try to understand how artists think. Now, I know that there's a bad rap out there that programmers don't make the greatest tech artists. Now, coming over from programming right to tech art, I can understand how that happens because they really don't understand how artists quite think yet. But if the programmers do actually go and they study art and and if they study the way artists think, then they're going to create better tools and they're going to use the tools that artists really go and love. And I got to warn all you programmers, studying a little bit of art might put a smile on your face. So, okay, well, thank you very much for allowing me to go on my rant. And let me go ahead and change this over here. All right. Now, if you liked what we are talking about today, then I encourage you to come on over to check out Houdini Secrets Live today at 3 o'clock at this same channel. And today, what we are going to be talking about is a Houdini 18.5. We're going to be dealing with the IK solver. I'm going to be going over a couple of unique tricks that the new 18.5 can do, which really kind of makes the Houdini rigging in 18.5 very, very interesting. So come on and check it out. Now, Tech Art Talk Live will not be meeting next week. Regretfully, I'm going to be out of town. But when we come back on the 22nd, we will be launching onto a very large module dealing with programming and Python programming and scripting in particular. And I'm going to implore and then kind of like do a deep dive and try to imbue the entire audience with learning Python the tech art way. All right. Now, if you have a chance, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you have an opportunity, go on, check me out. I'm Chris Rhoda. Check me out on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And then check out also TechArt EDU, both on Facebook and on LinkedIn as well. But folks, I've kind of shifted things around a little bit. If you can, what you could really do that I'd really appreciate and would really help me is go on over to the techartedu.com website. I've got a little website there, and it's going to be posting all of the news and all of the updates of whatever happens along with this broadcast and some other goodies that are going to be developing on the way, and more of that to come. Okay, wherever you see a little button there, it says get access to the late articles, go ahead and click that and sign up. What that does is it gives me information for you and it puts you into my database. So I'm going to make sure that I am able to get information out to you as quickly and as soon as possible. And as sooner I can get that communication and work flowing, we can create a better interchange back and forth. All right. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for allowing me to gush over my TechArt Saints. And I hope everyone has a great 2021. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.